Let's now have a look at how we can find the solution to this exercise. The first question, what is the total revenue in California? Therefore, we want to just, of course, go back to Power BI. And if we want to see all of the data again on the right side, we can just remove what we have written in this search bar and then we see everything again. So we can just create a new visual for this. To do this, we can just again drag and drop the fields that we want into the canvas. This is, in my opinion, the easiest way of working here. So we have first of all the state, and the state comes from the store ID. So let's first demonstrate why this is not working yet because of the data model and the missing relationship, and then we fix the problem. First of all, we want to get the state. We can just drag and drop it into the canvas. Now the default, since this is a text, is just in this case a table, but we can also change it just by going to home, or we can also just change it here in build a visual. Also, we can do it in the home ribbon up here. So I can just in this case use, in our case, maybe again some kind of a column or bar chart. And now we also want to, of course, drag the revenue because we want to get the total revenue of California. The revenue is in the sales, so we can just again drag and drop it either directly into the diagram. Usually this should go into the right place, or we can also just drag it directly into the y-axis. And then we have this now, and we again remember when something like this happens, this is likely due to a missing relationship or a not properly set up relationship in the data model. So let's fix this. We go to the data model. We already know how this works. And we need to now connect the stores table with the sales table because the state is in the stores table and the revenue in the sales table. Again, we can use the table view to see which relationship we want to use. We see we have the store ID in the sales table, and also in the stores ID, of course, we have the store ID. So this is the relationship we want to use. And we go back to the model view. And in this case, we can just search for the store ID in the one table, and we can just drag and drop it onto the store ID of the other table. Again, the direction doesn't make a difference. We just need to make sure we select the correct columns. So we do this, and then when we hover over this relationship, we can again see that the columns that are used for this connection are highlighted. So we can make sure that this is the correct column that has been used. And now let's go back into the report view and see that this is now correctly working. And now if we have a look at California, this is in the alphabetical order. We see that the revenue is 2054. And for the next question, how many sales has the product namkeen rice? We want to also just use this same diagram. In this case, we can just delete the data out of this diagram just by selecting it and clicking on this X to remove the data. First of all, we want to get, in this case, the name of this product. We can see that in this case, it is product brand. Maybe we would like to rename this name because it is not very descriptive, and maybe someone that has never seen this data is not understanding that this is the name. Of course, we can make this change in the query editor by opening it and then just double clicking into this column. So for example, in the product hierarchy, we have it in here. We can double click and change it from here. Or we can actually also change it right from the report view. So this is a bit more convenient. We can again just double click into this field and then we can also rename it. So this makes it just a bit more convenient. I enter it as a name, and now I can again just drag and drop it into the fields. So the name should go into the x-axis, and also the y-axis should be in this case now the sales from the sales table. So we scroll down and we see in this case it should be here. So we drag and drop it and then we see this product. This is just the first product, and in here we have the sales of 1,137. And for the last question, let's also use this diagram. So we remove the data and we want to know what's the average price in Dallas. So therefore, we go to the stores and we have the city. So we can drag and drop it. And then also we want to see the price now from the sales. We drag and drop the price. And then we see that in this case, the data is visualized. But now we see that this is just the sum of the price. And this is also visible in this place. But we would like to change it to the average. And we remember we can change this aggregation method by just clicking on these data options, where we can also change now the aggregation method. In this case, it should be average. So we just select average, and then it will be changed to the average. So we can now go to Dallas, and we see now the average is 14.42. So like this, we have answered all of those questions, and I hope that this was helpful in just quickly practicing what we have learned so far.
Thanks for watching the video till the end. Please leave your thoughts below so we can discuss more about the topic. If you'd like to suggest a video that could help the community, feel free to message me on X or Instagram. We also share short videos on Instagram, so make sure to follow us there. Feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you, and might even create a video based on your suggestion. Thanks again for being part of our community. See you in the next video.